everybody. So I want to welcome you back to the Next Level Leap podcast and introduce you to a very special person. She's one of our students in Fractional Freedom and our consulting incubator. Her name is Rachael Yvonne Davis, and she has a really interesting background and different types of projects that she's working on right now that I'm excited to share with you. So welcome, Rachael. So good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, Laura. I'm super honored to be here with you today.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your business background. Like what brought you to today, and then really what interested you in being a consultant?
Gotcha. So I went to school in South Texas Christian University, go Frogs. But I'm wrapping up my doctorate in global operations and supply chain management. And I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So from, creative endeavors, from being around DJs to, eventually getting pulled in to work with individuals in entertainment. I've found myself kind of in this unique space where I've been able to kind of consult with, general business on special events, on projects, on, press, on even with cleanup, with media and things of that nature. And that's kind of brought me to this space that I'm in today. But I'm really looking to pivot and to shift from that sort of thing. And I want to do something that I feel like is more sustainable, that's really rooted in my heart space and in my purpose, which I believe is helping people to create profitable and living brands that really address real needs, that improve the human condition, but again, more importantly, that are actually profitable. And part of the reason why I was so attracted to the program that you offered was that I felt like you were teaching a structure and you were teaching frameworks that I hadn't seen in my formal education,
Mhm.
and that I've yet to see really be talked about in the consulting space. One of the things that I've struggled with in the past was making sure that I monetize my time and that I don't get burnt out from, giving my all or getting kind of lost in the sauce, so to speak. I mean, we're women of excellence, so we're going to do that anyway, regardless. We're going to make sure that the job gets done. But it is important that we have structure, that we have framework and accountability for ourselves so that we can show up and be our full and whole best selves, not just for ourselves and our families, but also for the clients. And that's one of the things that I really loved about Fractional Freedom, is that you're really cut and dry, very transparent and honest about, this is your value space. You're not crazy. This is what you're worth, and it's okay to charge those things. But then at the same time, this is how you structure your day. This is how you structure your time. This is how you onboard. This is how you work with your clients to make sure that you're checking in to ensure that you all are not just a good fit for each other, but you're still a good fit for the journey that you're on moving forward. And so I really appreciate that experience that I got with Fractional Freedom and working with you.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And you do a lot of different things, brilliant and beautiful. So you are also, I'm not going to say it correctly, so I want to hear you say it, but tell me a little bit about the pageant experience that you're having right now.
Yeah, so I competed in my first international pageant. I competed in the Miss Plus World pageant system, and I won my first title. So,
Oh my gosh, so exciting.
so I am Miss Plus World Humanitarian Ambassador. And the more I sit in that space, I realize how important and how divine that is, and that I've been
Mhm.
able to speak and work with people around the world. People see me as someone who's not just beautiful, but who's also brilliant and inspirational. And so I've been able to help mobilize some unique projects and other women to work towards them reaching their fullest potential, and helping them to realize the difference and the impact that they can make just by taking little steps forward. And so I'm really excited about just having this unique opportunity to serve others in a greater capacity this
Yeah.
year.
And that's taking you to South Africa
I
next.
will be, yes, I will be in South Africa. We're working to send, pallets of supplies. I've been championing that project, but we're working to send like products for elders, feminine hygiene products, adult diapers, medical supplies for those who are lacking and who are less fortunate, who don't have that, for the UN's, they call it the National Day of International Day of Elders, or older persons, for October the 1st. So that's time sensitive and pressing. But towards the top of the year, I will be in South Africa doing a tour with some of the different places, and there. I've been able to speak and do some things virtually, but I'm really excited to be able to go and be there in person to be of service.
It's so amazing. And I think probably everyone's listening has had those moments, like those moments where you reach for a tampon, sorry guys, and you're like, I hope everybody can do this. Like, I hope
Yeah.
everybody can reach for these supplies when they need them. Like, I think about that sometimes.
Mhm.
And I think to a certain degree, that's that curiosity, that desire to serve, that wanting, that like craving to solve problems is what
Mhm.
makes a good consultant in a lot of ways too. That
Absolutely.
feeling of like, I hope other people have this problem solved, just like I have it solved right now. I hope that there are people in the world that are having their needs met, whether it's through humanitarian efforts or whether it's through a business offering or, even consumer offering that can make their lives better and easier. So what has interested you in the midst of doing all of this incredible work in the pageant space to also pursue consulting at the same time?
Um, I think that I have always been groomed to be a consultant and to be an
Mm.
entrepreneur, but the way God has orchestrated my life, I've had these different unique experience where I have been taught and groomed and trained by what I like to think are some of the best and the coolest in the industry. And more recently, I'm seeing that a lot of nonprofits or even pageants, they're not very profitable, but it's still a business. And so I'm seeing that the unique skill sets that I've been learning, and even that I've learned in fractional freedom, I've been able to make some immediate impact in those spaces. And so I'm thinking in the next couple of years, I will probably pivot my practice to solely focus on maybe profitable pageants,
Mm.
maybe take on a nonprofit every year, every 2 years, and focus on, okay, this is where I can give my time and my energy to help them, create those systems and put these unique ideas and programs in place so that they can have goals to reach towards, or have the committees to work towards those things so that they can kind of be innovative and leverage technology and think outside of the box so that they can still serve and have ministry. I mean, I hate to say I'm just a numbers girl, but I just don't think it's a sin to make money. It might be a sin what you do with it, but it's definitely not a sin to have that currency and to have those resources. So that's kind of how I see things evolving for myself. I'll be honest and transparent and say that, I'm still figuring things out,
Yeah.
like a lot of people are, but I think, I'm willing to learn. I'm humble. I'm hungry. If you give me something to do and say, hey, this is what you need to work on trying to implement, I'm gonna jump right on it. And I go all in for the
Mm.
energy and the time that I had until I get pulled away to do something else. So
It's so good. I had one nonprofit client this year, and it was a really cool experience because it's a pretty innovative group of people.
mhm,
And it was really incredible to watch them apply some of the marketing principles that we use in the nonprofit space. And they
mhm.
basically doubled their numbers in the time
Yeah.
that we were working together. And I think even they were surprised because they were
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, like this works.
Yeah.
And it was so exciting because the funding source was the one who was paying for my time, not
Mhm.
the nonprofit. And I think it's a great place to specialize. And to the degree to which they can embrace growth, right? Because I think a lot of nonprofits might feel like they have a legacy to
Mhm.
protect, or the way that that's always been done is the way that it needs to be done. Like the degree to which they can approach innovation with an open mind is so impactful. It's so impactful to watch them apply these business principles.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree.
Yeah. So in a couple years, you might be passing the crown to someone new. That I don't know how long the term lasts, but in a few years, where do you see yourself with your consulting business?
Um, Definitely, definitely have grown. I definitely see myself hiring, bigger team for this particular space. Um, I think ultimately the direction that I'm going into will have some elements where we focus on sustainability and corporate social responsibility and showing people how to implement um, those things into their overall business strategy. So and I hope to make those strides really, I say within probably about 2 years. I have until about August next year. I'll be completely done with school. Then my reign will be over with by then. Some of these other responsibilities and tasks that I've picked up that will I'll be done with that. And so definitely I love this growth consulting space. I never knew that that was the actual term or the messaging for some of the things that I did naturally, what that was called. And so I'm definitely interested in learning more and growing more in this space for sure.
Cool. Now, if somebody
Yeah.
was to, and thank you for sharing that. That's very,
Yeah.
and I think everybody is still kind of figuring it out, right? I think
Mhm.
anybody who says I haven't figured out and I'm done is the beginning of the end. I
Absolutely.
really do. I think that is the start of their finale. And I think having that growth mindset is so important for consultants because we are the ones that are expected to stay ahead of the curve on behalf of
Mhm.
our clients, right? So if
Mhm.
somebody was thinking about joining Fractional Freedom and they were on the fence, what would you say to them?
I would say do it. It's a great investment. I believe in making investments. I don't, I think you have to pour into yourself. You need to pour into your business and you have to trust and know that you're going to get something out of it. But also when you step into the fractional freedom space and you take those next steps forward, be ready to do the work too. I mean,
Mhm.
even though you're here as busy as I am, there would be times where I was just up late at night going through the lessons and I would go back and I don't know if you can see that stuff on the back end, but I would go back and re-listen and reread and immediately if I was given a template or was given an example of something, immediately I was working on trying to figure out how can I implement this or how can I make this relevant towards my audience or for some of my ideal clients that I want to be a part of, my new client roster. And so I would say, don't make it shelf help, something that you're just going to get, but actually utilize it and do it. And it definitely, it's relevant and it's very practical. And so that's what I appreciate about it. Being formally educated and trained, you get a lot of in theory or,
Mhm.
a lot of book work, but I like the fact that this is hands-on practical knowledge that you're going to be able to implement immediately. And, if you do it, like she says, do it and you trust the process, you are going to receive or see a return on that investment. That makes sense.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that. I really appreciate it. You have such a
You're
unique and interesting background. I know it's from ranging from beauty to PR
welcome.
to pageantry, which was new. I just asked how you were doing before we started recording, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that about you. That's fascinating. And we're cheering you on here on
Thank
our
you.
team and so excited for you. And if someone's just curious about getting in touch with you or wants to see your pageant photos, which I would actually love to see if they're online anywhere, so I can like, heart them, and cheer you on. Where should they look?
I am pretty much on all platforms. It's very easy to find. My full name, Rachael Yvonne Davis, and Rachel spelled Rachael. So Instagram, TikTok. I'm working on building up my YouTube and putting more content out there. That's a part of the work. I have a website, RachelYvonneDavis.com, but you can also find my company, which is United Global Enterprises, at www.unitedinc.com. And you'll see links to other businesses that my family owns or other projects that we're working on those sites between some of those different things.
Awesome. All right, go everyone, go like all the things. Go subscribe so you get your YouTube channel up. Thank you, Rachel. Great to see you. And we're so excited for you for everything you're working on and all of the successes that are yet to come.
Thank you so much, Laura. I really appreciate you. And I look forward to doing more in the future.
Likewise.